Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, March 10th. Just got back, actually, from the bike store. Picked up a bike because gas is going up, and I went to the garage earlier this week, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should get back into biking. Maybe I can bike to the store. I can bike and go get McDonald's or Taco Bell or Sonic, or maybe I'll bike all the way to the movies, because gas is atrociously expensive right now. But, you know, when duty calls, you gotta learn and adapt, right? Isn't that what they say? Before I went to go actually buy the bike, because I can't afford gas at all in California, I went to see my, if I had a bike in the garage that's worth my time, and or worth, if I'm able to, actually ride it at my advanced age and new weight since I bought that bike. I realized that bike seats are actually one of the worst things you can possibly ever sit on. Especially, if it's a mountain bike or an athletic type of bike, where they're like, nah, you shouldn't be sitting on this. You got to be standing up and pedaling, you fat POS. Enough of the sitting. Just because you're on a bike doesn't mean you get to sit and relax all day. No, we're going to make the seat so painful on your butt cheeks that you have to stand and pedal in order to get from place to place. And by the way, did they not tell you that pedaling while you're standing up is also even harder than when you're sitting down? No, they don't explain that much. It just kind of, it comes with the purchase. Unless you got a bike that can shift gears and you can go from first all the way to 10th gear, whatever they have, which I do have, but, unfortunately, the old bike that I had, the gears, the transmission on the bike does just not, it isn't working. I don't know if it's leaking fluid or what's happening, but it's shot. So the transmission, the gear shifter on the bike is no longer in use. Therefore, I get a lot of, parts when I'm, trying to go up a hill or trying to, to have a nice ride, and the bike will just clank, and I'll be, shocked for a couple seconds and be like, whoa, am I okay? But besides that, the bike is good. So, I think we all should probably, wake up and smell the roses and pony up and get a bike. Because, what else can we possibly do? Gas is going up. I unfortunately do not have a Tesla or any electric vehicle, so I don't want to have to spend over $120 at the gas station to fill up my car, which is a small sedan, which with even a small tank of gas. It would be better for us as a country to actually maybe just adopt bikes. We have a problem with diabetes and heart disease. Bikes might actually help our, overall health and overall state of, well-being. That could be a good possibility. But yeah, it's time to get a bike, boys. It's time for bikes. And if not a bike, you can get a scooter. I also have a scooter. It's a Razor scooter, and it's a jumbo-sized. It's not for kids. It's for adults like myself. It can carry my weight. I've tested it many a times. When I was in college, I used to scooter my way all around campus because I would, decide to have classes so close to one another that I would need something other than my 2 feet, and not just to be sprinting across the campus like an idiot that I am for scheduling that schedule. And, I wanted to look cool doing it, so I got this scooter. Now, I would have gotten a skateboard, but I'm badly coordinated, and I can't skateboard worth a damn. So scooter was just my best bet. So I could use that too. Scooter, bike, skateboard, electric scooter, whatever you got. Hoverboard. Maybe the hoverboard will make a comeback, people. Maybe with the rise in gas and they want you to go electric. Well, what about an electric hoverboard or a Segway? We can transition to that. Maybe we should just outlaw the gasoline car right now. Seems like it's just not even, it's going to, having a car is going to make you even poorer than you thought it would. With all the payments you got to make, if you haven't bought the car, you got to pay it off, and then the insurance, and then maintenance, and all that garbage, and gasoline, and oil changes, and filters, and shifters, and pistons, and shit like that. That all come with the car. It's like, well, you know what? Why don't I just get a bike or a hoverboard or a scooter and just, deal with that? But, since we live in California, every workplace or every major city is so spread out and is so, not like back in the East Coast. Now, I'm not saying that there's a better coast, but I'm just saying that the businesses over there are usually more close together, whereas here in California, everything is so spread out. It almost kind of defeats the purpose of having these smaller forms of transportation, like a hoverboard or a bike or a scooter or a skateboard. But I'm already going to pick up a bike. I haven't bought it yet, actually. I'm thinking about getting the new Ferrari bike. It's red. It's got a great design. Made in Italy, shipped out here. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna blow your mind. It's definitely not electric. So take that, Elon Musk. It's all powered by me, my legs, and whatever I have to eat that day. It all depends. Am I going to be putting in some, high quality food to power my bike, or am I going to be running on, poor chips and M&Ms? Is my bike going to be running off of that type of food, or in this case, fuel? Not sure. Depends on what I'm feeling that day. I mean, if I had a salad, and a protein bar, and maybe a lot of water, maybe a little bit of Gatorade, or an energy drink or something like that, or some good ass food, then I'm going to be running pretty well that day. And if not, it's just going to be, well, I would pray for hills that I can just coast on. You also got to make sure you get your brakes checked, make sure the bike is good enough for the roads out there. Make sure not being causing any trouble. We wouldn't want that. We don't want the police to pull you over for not having a registered bike on the streets. That'd be terrible. But yeah, we live in the new world, bike world. We better have a high-speed rail for bikes put into every city, because this is the new world. This is the new world of transportation. Cars are going to become obsolete soon because there isn't enough electric vehicles out there, or power stations to fuel those electric vehicles because gas is going up so high. We better start making high-speed bike rails and more bike parking. No more of this car shit. It's over, people. We have to move back to bikes. Not move forward to bikes, but move back to bikes. And maybe even if you want to be, a little flashy, maybe a unicycle. You can unicycle to work. That could be cool too. Moving, but I just, kids are going to be on what, tricycles? Is that what they drive? A big wheel? I remember I had that when I was a kid. It's just, it's not a great time to be paying for gas. I mean, I haven't seen the actual prices around the country, but I would assume if it's anything like it is in California, it's pretty high. I mean, higher than than it's been in your state for a while. I think here, like maybe yesterday or a couple of days ago, I saw that it was like $5.30 something. That might have been already adjusted to the time of this airing, so that's not good. I mean, it's not great. But, it's just because of stuff going on in the world that we really don't have much idea how it's going to get resolved or anything like that. I know this is not a political podcast in no shape or form, but I think that we can all kind of agree that this is a bit effed up. This is not a good situation. This is not a good thing for the working class common people to be, having to deal with. Like, oh shoot, should I buy a bike? Maybe I should find a bus or something. Maybe I should, if you're like, oh, well, I can't just drop money now to go get a Tesla or an Audi electric vehicle or a Cybertruck or something like that. You kind of need something, a solution like here and now. So, I mean, I feel your pain. I do. It's not a good situation, not a good thing. Not fun either. I mean, summer's coming up. You're going to want to go to the mountains, to the beach, to the amusement parks, to the park, to Chuck E. Cheese maybe, and have a good time. John's Incredible Pizza. And do fun stuff. Go to the lake, go to the river, whatever you do. I mean, how are you going to tow your boat with a bike? It's not going to be really possible. I think you need like maybe 30 people to hitch that boat all the way to, I don't know, lake, whatever you're by, to go on the lake and have fun. And then you got to fill up that boat with what? You can't just, I don't know, use corn. You got to use fuel. Or if it's electric, which I don't even know if those are a thing yet. So, I mean, electric boats. I mean, I would assume like maybe there's a couple in the world that are electric, but I think I would assume that most boats today, whether that be like a yacht or even like a small boat, would use a type of gasoline, which I don't see getting, dropping the prices anytime soon. So good luck, all you vacationers that are not going to be denied of your fun to hopefully power your boat with whatever gas that is available on Earth when summer approaches. And I hope that you can find a way to get your vessel to the boat or to the water source that you want to be, if it's not already dried up because of a drought apparently, or lack of water because we no longer get water from overseas. Who knows? Again, I hope that never happens. I hope gas does go down. But, we can poke and laugh a little bit about that because what else can we do? We can't just sit here and say, we want gas cheap again. That's not how it works. It's just there's got to be other things that factor into that. And unfortunately, I'm too stupid enough to look into it and to see what actually would work and what wouldn't work. So my suggestion is get a bike. And I guess quit your job if you live too far, because if you live too far, you can't buy gas. I mean, you might as well have to quit. Maybe work from home. Hey, this is another way you can work from home. Just a different scenario why you have to work from home. So, it all circles back. History repeats itself in one way, shape, or form. So yeah, it's not looking good, but we'll see. We can only hope that with time it'll get better. Maybe we stuff. Maybe we'll find a stockpile of oil somewhere in the coast, already dug up and just kind of laying there. Who knows? It might happen. It might not. I would bet that it wouldn't, but we can still hope. Hope is not a good strategy. I agree that it is not something that you should use, but God damn it. In this world, it feels like all we can do is hope. Hope for, things to end, things to begin a new era, but mainly if they're bad times, we would want them to end. Like another thing that I think that should end is something that I actually thought, wasn't continuing for very much longer. But actually it kind of is, and I'm actually kind of disappointed in it. And it's The Walking Dead. Now, I believe that The Walking Dead on AMC is still going to this day. Like, they had like these multiple, I think they're on the final season, but it's like the part 2 of 3 of the final season. I don't necessarily know what that means. It's like, is it just one big episode, or is it like a series of episodes to be that part 2 or part 1 that they've already shown? And then obviously like part 3 of 3 would be the end of The Walking Dead. But that's something, I guess people love The Walking Dead or something, because they decided to make another show called Maggie and Negan, or Maggie Negan, with more zombies, but this time they're not they're in a different location. They're in New York City fighting zombies. And I just can't help but think that, how has this continued for so long, and with spin-offs? Like, first of all, I think that this might be like their 5th spin-off or something like that. Like, it's definitely not their 2nd, because I remember their 2nd was Fear the Walking Dead, and that came out back in, I would say, like maybe 2016, 2015. I'm just going to give a quick search of The Walking Dead, just to see how many uh, uh, spin-offs or shows that they have that you can look up. So Walking Dead came out in 2010. All right, the TV series Walking Dead video game came out in 2012. All right, already too much Walking Dead for my interest. I'm not a big fan of zombies, so I'm like, get that shit out of here. Well, let's just look at it. It's not done yet. It says it's completing in 2022. I would assume. I don't even recognize some of these faces. I recognize Daryl, played by Norman Reedus. Carol, Maggie's in it. I see Negan. Listen, I thought that these people died. I thought they died a long time ago. Apparently not. Apparently they keep surviving this world where so many people perish and die, but not these ones. Not these people. They've dug deep. They've put their mind to it, and they're not done. Like, I haven't seen the guy who plays Rick Grimes, right? Andrew Lincoln. I haven't seen that guy in anything for a while. Like, is he still in the show? I've heard like he's not even there because they have to find him or something. But it says that he's stopped filming in 2021 on this show. But I don't know if that's true or not. Just because there's a lot of shit within these shows that happens, a lot of characters, a lot of arcs that I've completely lost. I'm not even sure what's happening now. And it's not to seem like a hater. I don't hate the show. I used to be a fan of the show. I watched season 1, 2, and after 3 I was like, I'm done, goodbye. I don't need any more Walking Dead. I'm good. Not because somebody died. I was just like, is this all it's going to be? Is this just going to be about zombies and people fighting about territories and their own, little, what is it called? Little governments or their communities and fighting about that? Like, I would figure, like, after all these seasons and after all these spin-off shows, wouldn't all the zombies be dead by now? If you think about it, like, there's so many people that they meet and so many zombies that they absolutely, kill, that how would it not be completed yet? It's been 177 episodes so far, or that are at least on IMDb. But it's just like they keep coming, and they've introduced this or announced this new series coming out. Like, I remember back when there was, Rick Grimes, his wife, and then you had Shane, played by John Bernthal, who was amazing in season 2, and then you had Steven Yeun as Glenn. And then when he died, and I didn't even watch when he died, I just heard that he died. And I was like, well, they're going to lose so many more people now because he died, and he was on the show from 2010 to 2020. For 10 years, he was on that show. Granted, probably his biggest role of all time. Like huge role. Huge. And then you have, Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, there's got to be more, right? There's got to be more to that. And then Maggie Negan, which is another thing. Is Fear the Walking Dead still going? Let me check that out. I'm not sure if it is. Yeah, it is. 2015 to no end date. What if I Google Walking Dead spin-off? What do we get with that? Okay. And also there's going to be movies too. Movies with Rick Grimes in it. So I remember hearing that around in 2020 that was still being planned out. And that was going to happen. It's going to be Rick Grimes' Walking Dead movies. And I was just thinking, who's going to watch that? But apparently they've been going on for so long that they just keep making Walking Dead stuff. And I was always thinking, dude, Walking Dead was so, depressing at some points. It was cool, but it was a lot of betrayals and killings and murders and gruesome violence, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can keep taking this. I mean, it's just so much. So yeah, I just Fear the Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, is this legit? Is this World Beyond thing? Is that real? I have no idea. The Walking Dead cold storage, is that real? No, it looks like it's fake as shit. The Walking Dead torn apart. This is all just a bunch of fan shit. that people made, I think. Or maybe not even like big budget shit. So I might be wrong there. So Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and then Negan and Maggie is another show. Negan and Maggie. You can't wait to see Negan and Maggie? I certainly don't care and don't give a shit. To me, The Walking Dead died after 2013. It was over. Dead. Kaput. Maybe even 2012. Not sure. Back then, that was such watchable TV. And I remember my brother was like, there's like a few seasons. And I was like, wait a minute. A few seasons that are just dog shit. I believe he said a couple seasons are dog shit. And then the most recent one, or maybe second most recent one, got better. I'm like, wait, so you want me to drag my soul through the mud of, well, not you don't want me to, but if I wanted to get to the good shit, I would have to drag myself through the mud of these awful seasons to get good again. It just seems like it's such a big waste of time, and I'm just not going to do it. I think that, first of all, there's no way the audience of The Walking Dead is anywhere near as big as it used to be. Because literally everybody back in 2010 to 2013 or 14, everybody was watching that shit. Everybody I knew, my friends, some of my family members were watching it, people that I met were watching it. So many people were watching that show. I just can't think that now anybody would have the same inkling of interest as you would back then. Truly, I don't believe that. But hey, if it keeps making money, make it. I don't give a shit. Just make it. Maybe you'll actually stumble across a new audience, a new breed of audience. Maybe you make it so different and not what it used to be, and just kind of make it, something new, that you find a new audience. Maybe you stick to movies. Maybe after the series are done, you just make, movies like that you were with Rick Grimes, and see where that takes you. I don't know. That's an idea, but I want credit on that. Not that I'm going to get it, but which is BS, because I believe that they've already said that they were going to make movies before I said that, so it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, but I could use less Walking Dead. I think that's kind of what made me not dislike zombies after a while, is a combination of Call of Duty, zombies, other zombie movies that I saw during that era of entertainment, and then The Walking Dead just being such a bash over the head of zombie. I'm like, oh goodness. Don't get me wrong, some of those arcs and storylines in Walking Dead with characters, not even with really about zombies, were really, really good, and they were really captivating. And I just remember those early days with Rick and Shane and his son Coral and T-Dog, Glenn. Who was the old guy? Back when we had young Norman Reedus as Daryl, Carol, Maggie when she first showed up, Herschel. Who was the main? Wasn't Glenn? What was the old guy with the RV? What was his name? I do not remember that guy's name, but he was a good character, and I was so sad that he actually died, because he was a fun character. He was, he was kind of like a little bit of a mentor to certain characters, and everything's gonna be all right, and just be okay. Michonne, she was a cool addition. Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, and I can't find it in this cast list. Maybe if I expand it, because, again, it's been going on for 12 years now, so you're going to get so many people that have been involved that you're going to forget that we're even in the show. Come on, let me see. What was his name? Give it to me. Give it to me quick. Wasn't Scott. Yeah, the chick who played Susie Crabgrass in the show, too. What was her name? She was in Nancy Classified. Her name is Kristen Serratos. She played Rosita Espinoza. Yeah, I didn't even see any of her episodes. Wait, no, I saw a couple, because she debuted in 2012, so I saw some of hers. Then they had Chris from Everybody Hates Chris in it. That was sick, too. That was cool. That was a great addition, I thought. Even though I didn't really see all that much, but I was like, hey, this guy is in something else? That's awesome. Yeah, I can't find it, but just enough of The Walking Dead. I think it needs to end. I don't know a single person that watches that show like weekly. Don't know a single person. Moving on. Finally, after so many years of development, rumors, going to be a movie, a show, it's going to be this many episodes, now it's going to be this many episodes, or actually it's going to be this many episodes, we finally get the trailer for the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series on Disney+. It's been a long time coming. One of the most anticipated Star Wars projects probably since episode 7. Like, I would say like the most anticipated, the most hyped, because even if you didn't care for the prequels back then and even really now, I think we could all agree that Ewan McGregor as a younger Obi-Wan Kenobi did a pretty damn good job in those movies. Whether you liked them or not. Me, I enjoyed them for the story. The acting is atrocious. It's pretty bad. The effects still hold up, I think, in my opinion, for a more of like a campier action fantasy sci-fi world. They still hold up, in my opinion. But, I mean, the story, at least it makes sense. At least it fits in with the story of Star Wars and those characters, and like not like the sequels. So, I mean, I respect it for that. Again, the directing and the acting is atrocious, but that's just my opinion. They still count for me as Star Wars, unlike the sequels trilogy that have, I verbally have said I do not care about them anymore. I did when I was blinded by their hype and anticipation and excitement, but now, get that out of my face. But this seems promising. Now, in a couple ways. One, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and two, the era and the time period in which this series takes place. It's taking place 10 years after the Revenge of the Sith, and you got Obi-Wan looking after Luke, which we've got that confirmed. I mean, we get a little bit of Obi-Wan just like kind of struggling to survive, I guess, because the Inquisitors from, if you don't know, from Rebels, they were introduced in Rebels, I think, and they're like these Jedi hunters that are like Sith knockoffs, or not like fully Sith, but they have red lightsabers, they dress in black, and they usually are very pale and evil looking, so you can kind of like think that, oh, that's a Sith. Like, no, it's not. It's an Inquisitor. It's something different. Star Wars nerds will be like all over you if you say like, oh, that's a Sith. But yeah, and that, it's interesting because it's like, we also have gotten Obi-Wan in Rebels as well. Him as old Ben, essentially. Like, it's like maybe a year or two before A New Hope begins. Maybe even a couple months. I'm not even really sure. But we've seen him in that, and now we're going to get him live action again, played by Ewan McGregor, and I'm just really excited. Like, the trailer did exactly what I wanted to. It was a tease. You get some cool shots, you get some little plot points, just a little bit of what Obi-Wan has been up to, and then you get a lot of, cool, like, you get a lot of tones and references and signals that this is going to be pretty dark. What it seems like. It's going to be pretty dark. Maybe not necessarily going to be totally, for the children. Possibly not. More of a mature audience, I think you could assume by the trailer. But, we'll just see how far they actually go when it actually comes out on May 25th. It's exciting. I think it's one of the periods of time and the characters that we've been dying to see, told. Like, if there is even a story to be told there, which I believe that there is. So them finally acting on this and making it a 6-part miniseries is very cool. It's very, very cool. Now, I don't know if they're going to be like an hour long every episode. I would assume that they would be, because, I mean, that's just kind of like the format that we all expect in these streaming service drama shows to be at least an hour long. But, they could pull 30 minutes, 40 minutes, who knows? I mean, there's really no way to tell. I mean, as a fan of Obi-Wan Kenobi, you would want as much Obi-Wan as you can possibly get. But, I mean, I'm just saying, like, as excited as I am, I think we should be, I think that we need to be a little bit, pump the brakes a bit. After seeing Book of Boba Fett, for me, all right. Cool enough, did its job, could have been a lot better. I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit, just to dampen the expectations a little bit, just a little bit. Not saying to be negative about it, just saying, hold on. I mean, I know who's behind it. I know it's been years in the making, decisions about a movie, McGregor signing on, him basically being like a producer as well, him being excited. I love that. I think it's great, but I still think that we should have a little bit of expectations dampened just a little bit, just so we're not totally, heartbroken when it ends, or if it's not very good. But it's hard though. It's hard to tell that to Star Wars fans who are literally going to be taking this series, I'm not going to say this lightly, like the body and blood of Christ, to their IP, to Star Wars, like to Star Wars fans, with rumors, or not rumors, but confirmation that Hayden Christensen is going to be back as Darth Vader and Ewan McGregor. This is their body and blood of Christ. I mean, like, it's already, the expectations are so high, and I agree, like, I'm excited and I'm a fan, but I'm just going to hold back my excitement a little bit more. I want to see more. Like, there's a lot in the trailer, but a lot more to be desired, I think. And I think in my case, for me to be, just kind of pump the brakes a bit, just to, come back to reality and not fully, just not fully be sucked in and fully, fanboy out, which I've gotten close to, but I've been able to hold that back a little bit, just to be on the safe side, just in case it, whatever happens, I just feel like with a project like this, the characters, the era, the people who are being cast, like Ewan and Hayden, it's very easy to be overexcited. And for one little thing that you might have not have wanted that to happen or not go your way is going to, like, detract from your overall pleas of the show. It's like, got to be just a little careful on this, in my opinion. Just take it easy. We still got more than 2 months away before it comes out. Just take it easy real quick. And then when it gets closer and you see more, maybe, you can start to judge it more like, oh, this is going to be the best thing I've ever seen. But until then, just hold off on that. You can now, if you have HBO or HBO Max, you can now stream or watch, whenever it's on, F9, The Fast Saga. Now, this movie, F9, starring Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez and Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson, part of the Fast and Furious crew since, 2, 3, 4, that crew. I've been a fan of the Fast franchise for a while now. I think that even up to 8, they've been pretty solid movies, pretty good action action movies. And they've been like, I think that Furious 7 is one of, like, the best action movies that have come out in the past decade. Truly do. Like, that movie, Furious 7, to me, is my favorite Fast movie. It is so good. It's got a good plot, good characters, good new characters, good introduction of new things and new, like I said, like new villains, new characters. It's got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it. And what's his name? Jason Statham, and all those guys back in it. And it was the last one before Paul Walker died. and their homage to him at the end, him not being dead in the universe, but him being dead in real life. How they're going to handle that. And I thought it was a really, really, really good movie. Good action and everything like that. That to me is peak Fast. Then after that would be Fast 5, and then Fast and Furious 6. Those are like my top 3. Then after that, maybe Fate of the Furious, and then Fast and Furious, and then 1, then 2, and then Tokyo Drift. Maybe my I've never seen Tokyo Drift, but so I can't really rank that. But then after that would be Fast and Furious, the Fast and the Furious, the first one, and then Too Fast, Too Furious, and then after that would be obviously Tokyo Drift, which I've never seen. But those are the highlights. Those are the good movies, I think. Even Fate of the Furious is okay. It's not terrible. It's definitely watchable, and it's enjoyable too. But F9, man. I remember seeing the first trailer for F9. And I'm not going to spoil this either because I want to get my gang of friends to come watch it, and because I think that it will be it's such a hilarious watch, this movie. I was truly like on the verge of bursting into laughter like more than a few times in this movie, just because of how ridiculous this movie is. I mean, it is ridiculous. So back then, you could say that every action sequence, every big thing, every fight is sort of justified. And every heist, everything is sort of like, we have to do this because there's no other way. In this movie, the action, the fights, the driving sequences, the stunts, they just happen. They kind of just happen. They don't really have that much story in the movie that's really believable enough for those things to happen in the movie. And there's just certain things that just happen, and you can't just help but honestly facepalm. Because now for whatever reason, in F9, the story is so taken in the backseat of the movie, and it's just saying, like, these guys are the fast crew. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Just have them fight the entire movie. Have them drive in such ridiculous things and do ridiculous fights, and the audience will not care. Well, I'm sorry, director, writer, producer, executive. That did not work for me. The entire movie, the movie is bad. It's so bad. It's not unwatchable, but I mean, if you've been watching the Fast franchise up until now, there's no reason why you should stop now. I could understand if you were like, what the hell is this, back in Fast 5 or even Fast and Furious 4 back in 2010. But if you're this far, you kind of got to finish it, right? Like, I'm already this far deep. I was ready to watch this in theaters when the first trailer came out in January of 2020. I was amped up. I was ready. I was so excited. I was like telling all my friends, like, we're going to go see this opening night, and we're going to fucking laugh our asses off because it's so stupid and so ridiculous and just dumb in every shape and form. Just so dumb. Now that I've seen it, and by the way, it's been people have seen this for about almost a year by now. Like, I believe it came out last April or last May. I'm trying to remember, but I'm not really sure. It came out in 2021, like mid-year, around there. And I've been waiting for it, and I've been waiting, like, when is it going to be on streaming? Is it going to be on Peacock? Is it going to be on HBO Max? What's going to happen? And it finally came on HBO Max, man. And I was so happy that I did not pay for a ticket, because there are so many parts that are so stupid and it's just so blatantly dumb that I was like, I would have walked out by now, I think. Or I knew I would have known somebody that would have probably walked out in this particular point. And if they did not do that, I would have been shocked if they did not walk out. I mean, my God. It is so dumb. It is so corny. It is so campy. The one-liners, the jokes, the Vin Diesel delivering lines. I mean, the plot points. The action is just okay, I think. Honestly, the action has been better in Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Fast 7, even Fate of the Furious has been better. This action in this movie, this whole movie is just half-assed the entire time and is so bad. And I was just like, wow, they couldn't even get the action to look good or the effects to look all that good. There are some effects where there's people involved in the effect, or they want you to believe that there are people involved, but they don't even look like actual people. Like, it's just so bad CGI and bad effects. That's just like the entire thing is just bad, but it's hilarious. It is so funny because me and my friends just have this running joke of the Fast movies even existing, of what they do and how they've almost evolved from street racers and criminals and thieves to legit fucking superheroes. And in this movie, that is on full-fledged. It is so insane. You thought back in Furious 7 when Vin Diesel stomped on a parking garage and that went down, you thought that was the worst it could get. No. This tops it. It actually tops it. And to go back to the trailers of Charlize Theron voiceovering to John Cena's character, like, you wanted to be the better brother. You wish you were bigger than Dom, stronger than Dom, smarter than Dom, faster than Dom. Oh my God. Like, what they've done to Dom. What they did to Dom in this movie. Vin Diesel loves it, by the way. You know he loves it. He loves being the leading star, the actor. He thinks that these movies, because they make so much money, that he's such a good actor. But he's not. He is so bad, and he's even worse. His worst performance is in this movie. He is so terrible in this movie that it's like, dude, what happened? Like, what did this movie go through to get made, and why is it so bad? Like, truly, like, I do not know why it is as bad as it is. But I wasn't expecting much. I remember the reviews when it first came out. They weren't very good. They're pretty terrible. And I was just like, this can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. I've seen them all. They're all pretty decent. This one right now stands at a 5.2 on IMDb. 5.2. And I want to say it might have like one of the lower like ratings and number of ratings on IMDb, because F9 has 116 ratings on IMDb with a 5.2 rating overall score. Fate of the Furious had over 200 and some thousand. That one, F9 had 116,000. Furious 7 has 381 total ratings on IMDb with a 7.2 overall score. And Fast 5, which is my second favorite one, 373 with a 7.3, 373,000 ratings with a 7.3 overall score. Audience. The critics can go suck off on this. But truly bad movie. Not good. It's a shame because there's another one. And after this, I'm like, please, no more. I know it's not completed, and I do want to see the 10th one because it would be even funnier. I mean, it has to be even funnier than F9 for me to actually go buy a ticket to see, because I'm not going to wait after people have seen it. It'd be what, 2024 or 23 when it comes out. Like, I'm not going to sit around and wait to see it. Like, I mean, I don't think that I could go that long and not see it. But a bad movie. Bad movie. And I have to go pretty low on this. I think I'm going to go lower than the IMDb overall score. I'm going to go 4.8 out of 10 for F9. I mean, again, it's not good. It's truly not good. But if you have a friend group that enjoys stupid shit, watching stupid movies, making stupid jokes during the movie, this is a talking during the movie. This is not a movie where you are invested in the characters and wanting to know what happens next. It's pretty predictable. But this is a movie just to laugh at. This is not a movie to this is a movie for your family to laugh at. Actually laugh at because of how stupid it is. I mean, I'm not saying that I recommend you watching it, totally to sit back and watch it and be enthralled and be ready for a good show, a good film. No. Just watch it to see Vin Diesel glancing and looking at things in a stupid way, him delivering lines in a dumb way, dumb action, dumb plot holes, stupid ways they get out of trouble, and family preaching. Oh my God, it is hilarious. It is so funny. So it may get a low score, but I'd highly recommend you watch it just to laugh. Because I think with their 9th installment and their 9th entry in this franchise, we can only laugh now. The serious stuff has passed. Brian O'Connor's Paul Walker has passed. Now we're just left with The Rock is no longer in these movies, or no longer wants to be in these movies. Now we could just watch now for laughs. So if you want to laugh, I highly suggest you watch this movie. If you actually appreciate cinema and good filmmaking, do not watch it. But if you want to laugh with your friends or your family, maybe have a couple drinks when you watch it because it's literally that stupid, you don't really got to pay attention, then it'll be a fun night for you, your friends, or your family. Now I think we can talk about the main course for today's show, the main event, which I've been simmering for nearly a week, almost a week now, simmering on it and waiting to talk about it and make my opinion fully public of what I think about this. And it's the Batman review. My review of Matt Reeves' The Batman. The newest installment in Batman, the newest entry into Batman, the newest person to play Batman, the newest bat suit, the newest bat things, the newest Catwoman, the newest Batman, the newest Alfred, the newest Gordon, the newest everything. The newest Penguin, the newest Carmine Falcone, the newest everything. So the Batman. Saw this movie in a theater packed with people, ready to go. And I was actually, before I actually get into the movie, they actually started playing the trailers before the slotted time spot of the movie was, technically supposed to start. Because, when it hits like the time of the movie, they start playing trailers. They were playing those before I even got into the theater. And I was actually ashamed because the movie started right at 9. And it's close to a 3-hour mark movie. So it's like, I understand why, because they wanted to get people in and out as quickly as possible so more people could see it as much as people could see it as possible. So that was a bit of a ding. There was a hiccup in the movie too. Like right at this particular spot in the movie, the screen went black and the theater lit up, and then there was just no movie. And it was almost like if the theater or the movie caused the entire theater to reboot or something. It was so weird. And one of my friends was telling me that another friend of his, that same thing happened. He said that happened before we went into the movie, and then that shit happened in our theater. I was like, oh my God, this can't be true. So if you've had that happen to you in your showing of the Batman, you are not alone. You are not alone. But anyways, back to the movie itself. I thought the movie was all right. I thought it was all right. I think what really dinged it for me is just like how slow it was, or how slow it felt. The movie is nearly 3 hours long, which, me seeing that for the first time, I was so excited. Because, like I said, I've been clamoring and wanting longer movies, a longer format. I'm sick and tired of the 2-hour-long movie that just is so predictable, and things just seem to go the certain way every time in every big budget movie that's only like 2 hours, 220, 215 maybe. I wanted to see something longer. Now, this movie is clocked, I believe, according to Imdb. Let me bring it up right now. If you go into imdb.com right now, you type in The Batman, you get 2 hours and 56 minutes of runtime. And I will tell you this right now, it feels like that. It feels like that. For me, it did. I mean, the way this movie was pitched to be a film noir type of movie, it being very dark, darkly lit, detective movie about Batman, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm definitely in. I don't care about the length of a movie. As long as it doesn't feel long, I'm good. Like I said, it did feel long. There's a lot of times in this movie where they just linger on shots and linger on events and points in the movie, and just people talk very slowly sometimes, and things get done in a very slowly fashion. Very, very slowly. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, I'm really feeling this. Like, I'm really, really feeling like this is kind of a drag. Like, am I the only one feeling this? Like, is this just me? Do people like this? Am I in the minority? I truly, like, and this is like within like the first 10 minutes of the movie. I'm like, oh, shoot, this is slow. Like, there's not a lot happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying like I just enjoy fast movies. No, I'm not saying that. I just feel like with this movie, what they were showing and what they were trying to tell and how it was told did not need to be as slow as it was for it to get the point across that this is a detective style movie and like a film noir movie. Did not need that. I thought that was... I think you can easily cut 20 minutes of this movie that is just basically dead footage of just stuff happening, just nothing really happening. Like, truly. And you lose no effect of what the movie gives you. Truly. I truly think that. And I would love to say that it's just for certain parts of the movie, but it feels like that the entire movie. Like, it just... everything is just so slow and like moves slow. It's shot very well, which is a great thing, but it just feels like the story just needs to move along, and we get it. We understand what's happening. I understand everything that was happening, but I'm like, bro, I mean, like, just move on. Let's go. Come on. There's a lot more that's got to be done. I mean, we got 3 hours here, and we've seen barely anything really like move along. Like, it just felt super, super slow. And I just thought that was just kind of, not very entertaining, I would say, in my opinion. And the fact that it was also a detective movie, I thought that with, like, detective movies, crime-solving movies, I typically, go back and forth with them. I do like how they intertwine stories and plots like that, with having like the Riddler, adding things like the Penguin, and then Carmine Falcone and Catwoman and stuff like that, and her story. I thought that was really cool and fun, but I didn't really get a whole lot of moments where I'm like, oh shit, like, oh that's it. It all, or like if you did, it's not like in a very entertaining way, in which, people can go back and forth on that. People will say, I like that slow burn of the movie, it being like that and not being so um, I don't know, like they like that. They like soaking that all in and soaking in Batman and Gordon, who I think are very good in the movie. Batman and Gordon, maybe Gordon a little bit more than Batman, in my opinion. Working together, I think that's very cool that they did that. I just feel like other movies that solve crimes or do detective work do it more in a better and entertaining fashion, I think. Like a little bit more snappier, a little bit more clever in story, and a little bit more rewarding, I would assume. I just feel like in this movie it's so slow that it really does take away from the entertainment effect. Especially if like you're a general audience member like me who just watches movie Batmans. That's probably what you're going to hear a lot of people say. If you're talking to somebody who loves Batman and like loves his detective work and all that, which I thought was done okay, but there's a point in the movie where it kind of detaches from that and does another thing, and that also takes a while to figure out as well, and it's also very slow, and it ultimately just doesn't I don't know, I guess fulfill much of what I thought about that character in a way. It's just kind of, it's not very rewarding, I would say. And this is a superhero movie, right? Like the superhero is like who you're rooting for. But it's like, I'm not really feeling all that rewarded as if I need to be rewarded. But I'm like, shoot, man, I just, maybe I wanted a little bit more of that. Maybe a little bit more, not rewarding, but I guess satisfying, if that's a better word to say. I thought the villain, for the most part, the Riddler, is played by Paul Dano, is actually kind of laughable in most of his appearances. He's pulling off this serial killer vibe, but he's got this getup on, like this rubber mask on, and he's got glasses on the outside of his mask, and I don't know what it was, but it didn't really settle with me like that he was being serious. It was just like, and it's like I just did not really get a sense of fear from Paul Dano's Riddler, up until a certain point. Then I'm like, oh, okay, there he is. That's what I wanted to see. But it took like this long to get there, and I'm like, for the most part, he's very, like I said, he's kind of laughable. I'll be honest. Like there's parts where he's trying to be menacing and doing this laughing thing, and he's like, I'm just like, what the hell's going on here? Like, people actually think that this is menacing or something. Like, it just did not work for me. And to the Batman part, Robert Pattinson is Batman, the new Batman. I thought that he was a decent Batman. Definitely not my favorite at all. I did not care for his emo-y, and that's because a lot of people are saying that. His emo-y personality, his emo thing, I truly did not care about it. I didn't it doesn't make me hate the movie. I'm just like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm like, get him off. Let's get to Batman. Even though he's still emo, it kind of fits because he's got to be like that, because he's got to be menacing. He's got to be fearful. The one thing I will say, the positives, because there's a lot of positives in this movie too. The beginning of the movie opens up, and I immediately feel like the bad people, the criminals, the crooks, the villains, all have a genuine fear for Batman. And I actually really dug that. I thought that when the movie opens and you see all that happen, and like Matt Reeves capturing how everybody who's a bad guy in Gotham is afraid of Batman. I love that. I thought that it was so good, so good. I also really liked the Gotham in this movie. It was like a mixture between like it was like almost like they combined the Gotham from whatchamacallit, the Dark Knight, and like the Snyderverse Gotham, and gave it like a little bit more of a Batman Arkham Games twist. It looked a lot like Arkham Knight, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum Gotham. And I was like, that's really, really cool. Like Gotham as a city, and the fact that they're doing like a Penguin TV show in Gotham, dude, I'm all in. Penguin, played by Colin Farrell. He was, to me, the best part of the movie. Like I remember Colin Farrell's performance in that role, and his comedicness, his comedy, but also his like menacingness and his you can like feel that he was in charge of something, obviously his men, and that he was a mob boss and all that, and you kind of just felt like, oh, that totally fits in with this Gotham here. Like his personality and the way he looks and the character, that fits this whole vibe of this Gotham. And I'm just like, oh, I love this. He fits so well as that Gotham's and this Batman universe's Penguin perfection, like perfect. And I'm like, I want more of this. I want more of Gotham. I want more of Penguin. Not necessarily the new Batman, but maybe more of Catwoman, I think. I actually thought that she was very good as Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz. Even though it's not really, the movie isn't titled Catwoman. At some parts, it kind of feels like it could be. Like it feels at some parts in the movie, it's like, oh, this is more of a Catwoman movie than it is a Batman movie. I thought that the John Turturro, I'm trying to pronounce his name correctly. What is it? It is, hold on, let me find it real quick. The man who played Carmine Falcone in this movie also did a phenomenal job of just kind of embracing that role of a mob boss and, a higher up, like a made man in that universe. I thought it was just so well done, and that he fit that universe so well. He's not showing up on this cast list. Hold on. John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. If you don't know him, he was in The Big Lebowski, and he's also Agent Simmons in the Transformers films by Michael Bay. So he's great in that role, along with Colin Farrell. Parts of Paul Dano's good. Parts of him is good. For the most part, I think he's pretty laughable, which is sad. It's very sad. And Andy Serkis as Alfred is okay, but he's not really in the movie all that much, and he has a pretty important part in the story. But I'll be honest with you, I don't get that much out of it because he's not really in the movie all that much. Maybe if they spent a little bit more time with Bruce and Alfred, it would have landed better, I think. But they never really do that, so they don't really have that much screen time together, or even just Alfred screen time, if that. So for me, that part of the movie didn't really pay off all that well. Jeffrey Wright is great Gordon, I think. He's a very grounded Gordon, a very angry Gordon, a very, you can tell this guy has a lot of stress about his job in this version of Gotham. Like this Gordon fits this Gotham so well, and they nailed it. They nailed it. Gary Oldman's fit that Gotham. Jeffrey Wright's Gordon fits this Gotham to the T. What else? Without spoiling, because I don't want to spoil it for people. The action sequences are very well done. I think the choreography is pretty good. the Batmobile chase scene, which you've all seen in the trailers, is fantastic. It is like riveting how good it is, and it's like one of the better parts because the entire movie is just kind of like lull and slow for me, like I've said, and this one is like, oh yeah, there we go, energizing up a bit. It's shot so well. The Batmobile is all right for me. More of a Tumblr guy, but it was a great chase scene. It was a great chase. It was awesome, and his like the music overall too. The music in this movie and the sound mixing and the sound editing is also phenomenal. It just fits everything what Reeves' vision of Gotham is, which I've already said that I loved, and that music really just elevates it and makes you feel like you're actually in that Gotham, and it's amazing. I love it. Those were my positives. The opening, the characters I liked, Catwoman, Gordon, Penguin, Carmine Falcone, and Gotham itself, the car chase, and I think that the ending for me is kind of like it's very much like, I feel like it's been done before many times in comic book movies, and it just kind of like, it did not impress me. Not that I was like impressed the entire movie. I mean, I think it's a well-made movie. It doesn't do anything different. It doesn't, besides like the detective things and like the Riddler's riddles. It doesn't really do much, a whole lot different in terms of like other movies that you've seen before. It just really doesn't really push the envelope, I think, as much as it could have, or as much as they wanted it to. But and the ending for me is just very predictable, kind of lame. The fact that that's how this movie ends, knowing how it was going, and then the middle part happens, and then it kind of gets back on track, and it gets more like, I'll give it this: the mystery and then the detective work really gets really good at the end. Truly, it does. It's hit or miss for me in the beginning and the middle, but once they're getting closer and closer, it's like, all right, we're getting somewhere. And then there's a really great scene with Paul Dano and Robert Pattinson, and it's done very, very well. Very well. Again, it's very slow. It's long, and it feels that long. And honestly, for me, I wouldn't watch it again. Like, I don't think that I would want to watch it again. I would want to watch the moments of that movie, but I don't know if I'm willing to, like, it doesn't, like, the movie doesn't call me back to go sit down and watch that movie for 3 hours again. It doesn't, which is a shame. Believe me, I wanted to love it. I truly did. I was excited. I was ready. I was like, I'm ready to see this movie. I can't say that I would enjoy going back to watch it again. Maybe one more time, because I think that our theater that we saw it in also was like just like darker for some reason, because I went back and like watched like trailers and other clips of the movie that were released, and they did not look at all as dark as they were in our theater. And I even asked my friends, like, dude, was that darker? And then I think we all kind of like agreed, like, yeah, it was actually darker than what it looked like, because there's some parts where like you can't see jack shit. And I looked up that same scene in the trailer. I'm like, I can perfectly see it in this trailer. Now, I don't know if it's because of the theater not being up to date or something. I'm not sure. But I would definitely recommend, if you're going to go see this, try it in IMAX. We did not see this in IMAX because I was told that it would not be worthy of IMAX. Completely disagreed with that person. Completely disagreed. He shall remain unnamed, but that person knows that they were wrong, and I had to reaffirm that they were wrong. So overall, The Batman, reviewed by me, yours truly, will receive a 7.4 out of 10. Again, did not like it as much as I thought that I would. A lot of things it does cool. It's got great moments, but I think that the Batman character overall is not strong enough to propel this movie without the supporting cast of Gordon, Catwoman, Penguin, and Carmine Falcone. If those characters are not in it, I don't think that this movie truly delivers. Truly, I don't. I think that Carmine Falcone and the Penguin are standout characters. I think that Gordon is a standout character. I do not think that Robert Pattinson's Batman did all that much for me. Truly don't. And that's, again, I am a non-comic book reading viewer. Other people I've heard saying that he's the best Batman you've ever seen. That's totally fine. He might be the best adapted by a source material. I just thought that he didn't do too much that really wanted me to keep seeing him as Batman. That's just my opinion. But yeah, there you have it, the Batman review. And last but not least, before I sign off here, a little bit of NFL news. Been pretty wild these past couple days with this re-signing of Aaron Rodgers to the Green Bay Packers after a year of not being certain of him wanting to stay. This guy signs a 4-year deal worth $200 million with $153 guaranteed. So you can see money always wins. You might feel some way about the franchise, another way about the players, but at the end of the day, the money always wins. And that just shows that they're probably not going to get good players around Aaron Rodgers, but the Packers just want him because he's Aaron Rodgers. And he wins regular season games and does nothing in the playoffs, and they're okay with that for the next 4 years. That's completely fine. That's their choice. That's their opinion. People who love him, that's their choice. That's their opinion. I'm just pretty much saying, as an outsider looking in, I don't really see that much value in this re-signing. He's only going to get older, less mobile, less accurate. So, and I don't know if they're going to sign new players, what their draft is like. They keep making the playoffs and not doing well. So it's like, I mean, regular seasons are good, but you're not going to get many draft players. Aaron Rodgers is getting old. Devontae Adams is getting old. Aaron Jones is going to get older. So it's like, what's going to happen? I just feel like he's being a little selfish in this signing. But at the end of the day, money wins. Russell Wilson went to the Denver Broncos in exchange for Drew Lock to the Seattle Seahawks. Are the Broncos a quarterback away from being good, for being great? I don't know. I don't think so. But certainly Russell Wilson does bring excitement. He does bring a lot of good, cool things, a lot of cool possibilities. And along with him comes Ciara and Jesus Christ. So you can be damn sure that they're going to be praying a whole lot in Denver this season. And last but not least, the Washington Commanders sign Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback. And in return, the Colts get 2 third-round picks. So, I mean, like, obviously, Carson Wentz and what everybody was saying about that perfect marriage between Wentz and Reich in the Indianapolis Colts was golden, and it's a match made in heaven. Really just a year long, surprisingly. To some, others like me who see how bad he is and can't believe how bad he played, especially in that game where they had to win against the Jaguars and lost in an ugly, ugly fashion. But that tells you a lot about the NFL. They see something that's not going to work out, that doesn't have longevity, that's not going to last long. They will be quick to cut that out. Some franchises, like the Indianapolis Colts, actually do that. Others who see problems like, Dwayne Haskins or other teams' situations that just don't pan out, and they want to keep it going because they believe that, with enough, if they stick to it, it's going to work out. It's going to magically happen. It's all going to be good. Well, it turns out probably not the case. So I do give the Colts props for finding the problem and immediately getting rid of it in Carson Wentz. And to the Washington Commanders, who are now getting Wentz, that man now has to play the Eagles twice in a year, and I believe in the next season he will be going to Indianapolis to face the Colts. So I don't know if we're going to be getting I don't know what's going to happen with Carson Wentz. I thought that Indianapolis was a good fit. At the beginning it would have been a good fit. Him and Frank Reich, that offense, Jonathan Taylor. Look, man, that was last year. This is this year. They don't want to do that again. It's crazy because if you watch the Hard Knocks mid-season, you would have thought that these guys would have been together for at least another couple years. That was just a bad year. We had good moments. We shit the bed at the end. We'll give you another shot or two. Clearly not the case. It's a business, people. It's a business. And if the boss doesn't see enough progress or something that's not working and he's identified that problem, he's going to extinguish that problem as quick as possible. It's just, he felt that Indianapolis was going to be his home, that he was ready to live there with his family. Now he's got to go to Washington. Now he's got to go to the Commanders with Ron Rivera. And Taylor Heineke, does he lose his job? What happens there? Does he... It'd be funny if Taylor Heineke actually beat out Carson Wentz to be the starting quarterback of the Washington Commanders. That would kill me. That'd be quite the scene. But yeah, that's it. Just a few news things about the NFL to end the podcast and the show. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, if you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. It drops every Thursday morning. Make sure you click it, tap it, subscribe, listen, rate, review, do all that good stuff. Leave a comment. DM me a topic if you want to on my social media. It's in the description of the podcast on every platform. It should be there. But yeah, thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. And I will see you guys back next week.